This report chronicles a scheme by the President of the United States to coerce an ally, Ukraine, that is at war with an adversary, Russia, into doing the President's political dirty work. It involves a scheme in which Donald Trump withheld official acts, a White House meeting, as well as hundreds of millions of dollars of needed military assistance in order to compel that power to deliver 2 investigations that he believed would assist his re-election campaign.
I think Adam Schiff is a deranged human being. I think he grew up with a complex for lots of reasons that are obvious. I think he's a very sick man, and he lies. Adam Schiff made up my conversation with the president of Ukraine.
Let's get more on this from our Yasmine El-Sabawi, who joins us in the studio. So, Yasmine, it looks like they have officially adopted this.
Yes, and right down party lines. There are 13 Democrats on the House Intelligence Committee, 9 Republicans, and it was a 13-9 vote. Important to note, this is just a formality. This report is now going to the Judiciary Committee. The Judiciary Committee is the prosecution in this impeachment inquiry, and they will start hearings, public hearings, tomorrow with 4 constitutional scholars, legal scholars, who are meant to be nonpartisan, who are going to describe the impeachment process, what constitutes an impeachable offense, and we're going to see that play out tomorrow. But I do want to also talk about what's in this report. It's 300 pages long. There are a lot of details in here, but most importantly, Democrats wanted to point out that there was a quid pro quo, that the President of the United States directed an effort from the top, he ran the operation, and that what he wanted was for the president of Ukraine to open an investigation into Trump's political rival, Joe Biden, in exchange for a meeting at the White House. If this new president of Ukraine wanted a really coveted meeting, that he would have to do this first. We heard this at those televised hearings from a man Trump himself appointed, Gordon Sondland, the U.S. ambassador to the EU, and much of that report is based on this. But what really stood out to me was a couple of other things here that are pretty unprecedented. One is Democrats point out that Donald Trump is the first and only president in U.S. history to show such contempt for the Constitution by not allowing cabinet officials to testify as part of this process. And 2, they said they want to move as fast as possible in this case, not even waiting for any new evidence, because Trump is such a grave risk to national security.
Wow. Okay. Well, they didn't mince their words there. How were Republicans responding to all of this?
Yeah, Republicans just actually spoke to reporters in the last hour. Republican lawmakers came out, showed a united front in saying that this is essentially just a waste of time, that this impeachment process led by the Democrats is completely partisan, and that it's there to overturn the votes of 63 million Americans, which is the number that voted for Donald Trump in 2016. They said the Intelligence Committee is also focused on impeachment instead of focusing on actual matters of intelligence like Russian meddling in the election or China's influence on American politics as well. So just as the president wanted, just as he'd asked them when he invited them to the White House, he said, stick together and defend me, and that's exactly what they're doing.
How much of what's happening domestically here in Washington is overshadowing Trump's overseas meeting with NATO leaders right now?
There's no question Trump's really feeling the pressure here. I mean, we saw him lash out earlier today. We played that clip where he called Chairman Adam Schiff of the House Intelligence Committee deranged. He called him a maniac. This is Trump really feeling like his back's against the wall. Again today with world leaders, he called the impeachment a hoax. But what's interesting is that he actually told reporters today he would have loved to take part in this himself and testify, and he would have loved to allow his cabinet officials to do so. But as we understand it, Republicans are also telling the president, well, look, if our approach is to call this whole process not credible and not transparent and unfair, then we can't have you participating in it. But the president does have until Friday to change his mind in case he does want to allow his cabinet officials to testify or White House lawyers to go to these Judiciary Committee hearings.
All right. Well, by the looks of it, Yasmine, to the Senate trial we go. All right, Yasmine El-Sabawi, thanks for breaking that down for us.